When you hear the words American soldier, many think of a man in uniform shooting a gun or throwing a grenade on the battlefield front lines. While a woman tends to wounded soldiers while the man does this, or she does paperwork in an office away from the front. While this picture captures the majority of military personnel, it doesn't fully show the ban military branches have on women in combative roles. While there are many varying perspectives regarding the female's role in the military, there are three particular voices that illustrate the major discussions taking place about women's involvement in the service's front lines. Megan H. Mackenzie and Ben Barry discuss the ways women are capable of being in a position that would put them in a combat zone, whereas Victoria Tepe discusses the health risks as reasons why women shouldn't be allowed in combative zones. Mackenzie states, today 214,098 women serve in the U.S. military, representing 14.6% of total service members. Around 280,000 women have worn American uniforms in Afghanistan and Iraq, where 144 have died and over 600 have been injured. Even with these statistics, women are still able to serve in positions dealing with direct combat. Mackenzie goes on to say that even though there is a ban in all military branches, women are still joining and serving their country. However, with the upward rise of female enlistments, the ban that keeps women from participating in combat-related roles is being blurred. Mackenzie states that the main obstacle that remains is an outmoded set of biased assumptions about their capabilities and places in society. She argues that regardless of how the social norm thinks, women can hold their own and keep up with the physical demands of the military just as well as men can. Yes, there are obvious differences between the male and the female bodies, but that doesn't discount what women are capable of. The physical standards test for the armed forces isn't just about physical strength. It's also about an individual's determination. No matter the gender, male or female, if one has the determination for it, they will most likely achieve it. Mackenzie's reasons for writing this article is pretty much summarized in her last sentence. In a modern military, women should have the right to fight. Ben Barry wrote an article that both agrees with Megan and disagrees. They both have similar views on why women should be allowed to enlist into combat-related jobs or serve on the front lines if they so choose. Barry states that Staff General Martin Dempsey agrees that after allowing women to enter the U.S. military, the military academy at West Point had made it a better place. Sexual harassment was an issue in the U.S. Army and it had been an issue that they had been facing for some time now. After establishing the restrictions. After abolishing the restrictions on women and granting them access, the issues have subsided. It is exciting to be alive in a time of awakening consciousness. Adrienne Rich says this in one of her articles. With the constant strides toward equality in the military, the statement is very true. America is seeing good decisions being made about women's rights. While Barry provides arguments for why women should be allowed into the combat roles, he also sides with those against it. Barry talks about the potential risks the combat or infantry units could face. Allowing mixed gender on the battlefield could endanger the whole unit if the male soldiers feel a need to overly protect the female soldiers, more so than you do on a normal basis, of course. There's also the risk of women flaunting themselves for the sake of promotion. The risk of added sexual tension among the soldiers could be detrimental to the combat readiness as well. There are many extenuating circumstances that go into effect with either choice that is made. Berry states that they've got a major choice to make on allowing women in these combat roles or not. But unfortunately, where you have argument, there's also disagreement. Victoria Tepe disagrees with what Mackenzie and Berry say completely. She looks at the issues from a medical standpoint and sees important medical issues that could be detrimental to a female soldier on the front lines. Tepe speaks on the issue of mixing male and female together in such close quarters for such an extended amount of time. And when you work so closely together on a mission that requires you to look out for others, then sexual tension can arise. Tempe states that unintended pregnancies are more common in the military than in civilian population. And if someone becomes pregnant in theater, which is on the combat field, then they must be quickly evacuated. And, Tepe thinks that women would be a lot better working on the forward operating bases in those roles mentioned before. The argument is, are women capable of fighting in combat alongside men? And if they are, is it the right thing to let them do? People support both sides. There's a good amount of research that women have fought long and hard over the past century for the right to serve their country equally alongside men. The armed forces train for unity, but how can you really have unity if one gender is being treated differently? So, Ben Berry quotes Staff General Martin Dempsey by saying, I have to believe the more we can treat people equally, the more likely they are to treat each other equally. It's all about equality. And my audience.